very good morning to Ms. Karazita and also our fellow classmates. Today we'll be talking about diffusion and oil infusion for our subject separation process CHE246. So we'll be introducing ourselves. I'm Sofia Diana.
I'm not Amina Naziha.
I'm Nurul Anatasha.
I am Nubli.
I am Muhammad Aidil Mukris.
So we'll start off our presentation with our introduction to the topic.
Okay. So, diffusion is a movement of substance down the concentration gradient. This is two application of diffusion in respiration process and osmosis. Infusion is a process to extract the properties from a material in a solvent. Process is done by leaving the material in the solvent over a period of time. The product of diffusion and oil infusion process. An oil known as infused oil or masticated oil contain both properties of carriers oil as well as the herbs used, has a lot of benefit. Used as additive in massage oil, as hair care, as skin care, as cooking oil, as base oil in aromatherapy. Masticated oil, also called infused oil, are carrier oil that have been used to extract used as a solvent to extract the therapeutic properties of a certain plant. The base oil commonly used are olive or sunflower, and the process is quite simple. The process of maceration works by molecular diffusion, which is very slow, so it takes a few months to obtain a premium maceration.
As for my part, I will present about theory background. Diffusion is a method in which a fluid particle moves from a region of high concentration where there are many molecules to a region of low concentration where there are fewer molecules until it reaches equilibrium state. The particle will mix among themselves. Until it's evenly spread. The process occurs in several phases such as gas, liquid, and solution. One of the fundamental concepts of diffusion is the Fick's law of diffusion. First, the Fick's first law states that the diffusion flux is proportional to the negative of the concentration gradient. The diffusion increases as temperature increases. So this is the equation for the Fick's first law. The second Fick's law states that the corresponding diffusion equation. It is applicable for non-steady state. The equation provides the profile of concentration for non-steady state diffusion. For infusion is a method of extracting chemical compounds from plant material or herbs in a solvent. Solvents such as liquid, water, oil, or alcohol. The extracting of the material allow the material to disperse in the solvent over a period of time and produce infused oil. The production of the infused oil is easier by using types of botanicals that are volatile. The infusion of botanical is best be done with the presence of heat. As an example, by place or let the botanical in a sunny spot. The difference between infused oil and essential oil is the time taken for the botanical to disperse in the solvent. So that's all for me.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Aidil Mukris. Today, I want to explain about process background. There are several steps before the sunflower seed become an oil. First, cleaning. Removing the flower heads from storage in order to dislodge the seeds. And then, dehulling. process in which the sunflower seeds are crushed by corrugated roller mills. This is the machine that used. And after that, flaking, further crushing the seed to turn it to flakes. Because when we mulakan dihalin, after that flaking to make the construction of the seed become more thinner. And then the condition to be the temperature must 85 degrees Celsius before being crushed. Seeds are deformed. And then pressing to minimize the total oil loss, to increase the yielding of oil and to improve the quality of oil. And then extraction. As we know, we use the hexane to extract the remaining oil from the seeds, and then extracted oil is boiled so the hexane evaporates, and then the seeds are processed with lye and it steamed and heated. After that, DTDC system. DTDC system ni means desolventizing, toasting, drying and cooling. The purpose of DTDC system is to remove the solvent from the wet seed meal and obtain a high quality meal. And then mixed oil evaporation system. It is used to remove the solvent traces. Solvent is also regained using stripping column. And then we go to the degumming. Degumming, the first step of the refining process. As we know, the refining process has 5th step. First, degumming. The function of degumming is to separate the gums, the phospholipids and proteins that are insoluble in water. De-acidification. The second step, de-acidification. The function is mixture is acidified using nitrogen gas. Occurs in a pilot plant scale continuous deodorization. After that, decolorization. The function of decolorization is we want to reduce the contaminated water. Because we know the contaminated water can be toxic and dangerous if ever consumed. After that, deodorization. This is a final step to remove the flavor generated during the previous refining step. Di sini maksudnya when we apply decolorization, the chemical is removed but not fully. So we go to deodorization. So in this step, all the chemical are fully removed. At the end of this stage, the taste, the odor, the flavor, the color and the stability of oil is improved. So process is executed at a high temperature and pressure to eliminate undesired substance while still preserving minor components. And final step is dewaxing. The purpose of dewaxing is to remove the wax contained from the oil. After this process, final product is edible and free of wax. Dewaxing also known as winterization process post-cooling. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now we're moving on to the process flow diagram. So this is the a process flow diagram to give you the general idea of how the process works, the process of converting something into oil. So next, I'm going to give you an in-depth explanation on how this process actually takes place. So next, we're moving on to the case study. So the sunflower seeds are flat and small. So it is coated with a black shell with dark and grey stripes, and it contains a lot of nutritional values. So it is prone to rancidity, which provides it a limited lifetime. So next, so the sunflower seed has a wide range of application in industry. So there are a variety of sunflower seeds. The one that is smaller in size are used for confectionery products. Meanwhile, the seeds that are larger in size is used for edible cooking oil. So a byproduct of the oil extraction is known as meal. over 90% of the sunflower seed yield is used to produce edible oil. So this case study will be on converting sunflower seed to oil. So next. So I'm going to explain on the process of converting sunflower seed to oil. It is produced through method of cold pressing, and it requires minimum process. However, it produces light and flavorful oil. It involves seed cleaning. It involves 5 steps to convert sunflower seed to oil, which are seed cleaning, grinding, pressing, extracting, and followed by refining process. So the solvent that is used for converting sunflower seed to oil is hexane, which is one of the volatile hydrocarbons. So next. So these are the 5 steps to convert sunflower seed to oil. So the first step is cleaning and grinding. First, the seeds are dispersed over magnets so that the metal residue on the seeds will be removed, and then it is then processed into coarse meal, and then this meal is heated so that the extraction of oil will be easier. So next is the pressing method, and next is the pressing process. The meal that has been heated is being fed into a screw press, and this is when the oil is being extracted out of the seed. So as the oil is being extracted out of the seed, it increases the pressure. So a large percentage of oil is being extracted during this process. So next process is the extracting additional oil with solvent. So this is when the separation process takes place. So the remaining oil that has not been extracted out of the seed is extracted in the presence of solvent. So the solvent that we will be using is of volatile hydrocarbon. So in this case, the one that are mainly used for extracting oil is hexanes. So the hexane, the volatile hydrocarbon, will dissolve the oil, and then the oil will be distilled, and then the volatile hydrocarbon will be distilled out of the oil through distillation method. So the next step is removing solvent traces. So a percentage of 90% of hydrocarbon in the column will be collected to be reused, and then the remaining 10% of the volatile hydrocarbon that remains in the oil will be collected as well using a stripping column. So the remaining 10% of the volatile hydrocarbon will be boiled using steam, and then when it is being boiled, the volatile hydrocarbon, being the lighter component in the column, will float upward, and then it is being collected from the column. So the last step is refining the oil. Why do we refine the oil? Because we want to get rid of the odor, the unpleasant bitterness, and we want to get rid of the color. So the oil is heated and further mixed with alkaline material. Drugs that are produced in this process are removed by centrifuge. This is called the degumming process, which is the first process to refine the oil. And then after it is being degummed, the one that we use for edible cooking oil, we boil it and then we filtrate it, and then it is being mixed with activated coal activated hydrocarbons so that the certain pigmented material will be absorbed. So the other one that is used for cooling will undergo winterization process. So the winterization process is being carried out so that the oil will not solidify in the refrigerator. So last but not least, in the process of refining the oil, the last step is the deodorization process to get rid of the bad odor and unpleasant bitterness. So I think that it is for case study, together with the process of converting sunflower seed to oil. That's all for me.
Alright, so the last part of our presentation is actually the conclusion, after giving you the explanations upon the theory and process, as well as Amrina's explanation on the case study. So without us actually realizing it, that the diffusion and oil infusion are being used daily in our daily lives to produce infused oil that we use in our own home, like maybe in cooking, or even like for massaging, or as a base in aromatherapy. So throughout this whole process in our research, we weren't able to find an exact definition for a diffusion and oil infusion, but after doing a case study on producing a specific process of sunflower seeds, we were able to get a better understanding of the topic itself. So the thing here is, what is the importance of the theory background and also the process background that we provided? So according to what I understand is that the theoretical framework strengthens the study like in such ways that it connects the researcher to the existing knowledge, as though that the theory is only something that is tested on trial and error based, and when we apply it in our daily lives, we are able to connect it to the knowledge that we already have. So we apply it in our daily lives. So the next is that we can test whether the assumptions that we make in our theory is whether it is acceptable, or is it like the theory needs to be modified to like the current situation of the process itself. So after doing this report, we have discovered that we are being able to put the knowledge that we learn right now in this course to good use, in hopes of that maybe one day that will join the industry that we are today presenting about. So in our hopes that we will further study about this thing to improve the process in future, maybe like reducing the time, or like maybe like find new methods to improve the quality of the infused oil that we have today. So that is it for our diffusion and oil infusion presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you.